What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. What's up, T? We here for a little bit of Married to Medicine. It's the reunion. It's part one. I guess I feel like the reunion. Actually, I dropped off before I get started. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, oh, I'm here. This ain't coffee talk. I'm here. If you make sure you're subscribed. It's just, like I said, every now and then YouTube will stall me, give me one, take it back, give me one, take it back. So if you think you're subscribed, just check and make sure you're there, and tell your people. We can get down and have conversations about these shows that we like to watch. Anyway, as I was saying before, I feel like the reunion was decent. um I'm trying to get the hell out of here. There we go. Yes, the reunion was decent. Um, some people came in very hot, and when I say some people, I mean Latoya and Dr. Simone. I don't know. Like I don't know what Latoya's problem is. Latoya. I don't know why I be calling her Latoya. Maybe that's her name, maybe not. But anyway, they came in hot for sure during this. Why does this say help? I'm sorry, but it says help at the bottom of my screen, and I don't need help. I want it to go away. Is this something new? I hate when they update things, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Anyway, let me stay focused. The reunion. The ladies are walking in. It's time to get ready, for the festivities and things. And Jackie and Simone are not in the same room together. So whatever had transpired over on Watch What Happens Live tends to upset Simone. She gets upset when things happen over on Watch What Happens Live. So the ladies are sitting on the sofa. Everybody, I have some changes. Let me talk about that real quick before I get into it. I still like Simone's dress. I knew that Toya's dress was gonna be serving mostly titty, but the face card is not, declining. Heavenly look a fool like I Dream a Genie. The makeup is it just me, or did everybody's makeup have like this pink aura around it? For Toya, it's perfect. Like, she looks absolutely stunning. But for everybody else, it was given a little pinkish, I think. Um, Angel, I feel like when I did the review, I gave it to Contessa, but now I'm gonna take it back, like Dr. Heavenly be doing. It's still nice, but I feel like Angel looks beautiful on that sofa in her lovely gown. So yeah, I'm a switch contestant, Angel. I can have the right to do that if I want to. Anyway, we'll get back to that, when it's time to talk about it. So yeah, Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone are not in the same room together. They're on the sofa, and Andy asked Toya, is she still in her house? Sometimes Andy be asking shady questions that don't make sense. We've not talked about Toya moving. If Toya was moving, we don't care because that's what she does. But I was like, it's a stale joke. We don't. It's not funny anymore. Eugene and Toya, they gonna move and they gonna stay and they gonna move and they gonna stay. So it didn't land. And then him like immediately trying to, get shit popping off between Toya and Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly, do you think this is her forever home? Instead of her saying, the right answer, she plays into the bullshit because Heavenly has no control over her emotions and she just, got to say something crazy. So Toya said no. She thinks they're going to live in that house for a little while. And then Toya will move into a condo by herself. Now, the reason why this didn't make sense is because Toya's married. So why would she move? What are you implying by saying she's going to move into a condo by herself? Thing two, Toya will always live in a mansion. If she's an 80-year-old lady, why doesn't tea cool off fast enough? Even when Toya's an 80-year-old lady, she would never move into a condo. That don't even sound right. So, yeah, it was kind of a corny way to start. Um, Andy, pay attention. And there's so many other questions he could have asked. And Eugene ain't going nowhere. That's for darn sure. There's so many questions that he could have asked to start out. Toya, what you got going on? Any businesses? Where's the wine? Let's see what Toya's doing since she got so much to say about everybody else's stuff. But anyway, here we go. So there were questions asked. Listen, I didn't write these questions down. I'm gonna just go based on the answers that these ladies gave. So Toya thinks everybody should stay out of her relationship. Now, this isn't necessarily a question. This is something that she said um, at some point during the course of the season. So Toya thinks that people are not being open about their relationship and should stay out of her and Eugene's relationship. But the problem is Toya has this tendency to put her and Eugene's business out in the streets. So if you go argue and fight in front of everyone, then you can't expect them to stay out of your business, and you can't expect them to not have an opinion about it. And I think everybody, and we've said it many times, everybody hates to be around that couple that's always arguing in front of everyone. Andy sucks so bad as a host for these shows. If he's over it, then he needs to let somebody else do it. Who would do it? Because it's Bravo. And I agree with you. And I mean, if you're gonna, it seems like Andy is stuck in a place of 10 years ago. He ain't watching Housewives. That's clear, like on even the white ones. I don't think he really cares so much, you know. So if not Andy, who? Who would we choose to host the reunions? You know what I think? I think there's some TikTokers out there that do strictly housewives reviews, like real quick on TikTok. I think that would be an interesting place to look. It's these two guys that all the ladies go to because it's Bravo things. I could sit here and pick people that black people. I do think maybe somebody black should be um on the Black Housewives show, but they won't do that. They're not going to replace Andy with somebody like that. So who would it be? Because it's true. I feel like Andy is uninterested. He has a lot of people on his show. I don't even watch What Happens Live anymore. That used to be like my go-to, you know what I mean, at the end of the night. But I only click in based on who was there. So, and yeah, some of these ladies went over there. Who did good on Watch What Happens Live? Let me see. Let me get a close look at these ladies. I don't remember seeing Simone on there. I know she was on there, but I feel like she would be doing the same old thing that she's always doing. Toya. Was Toya on there? Not memorable, on Watch What Happens Live. I have to go back and look. I remember Angel went on there. Angel was the bus. She was kind of boring. So yeah, we do need another host. I don't know who would it be. We'll put a pin in that until next week, and then we'll maybe have come up with something. Yeah, Toy thinks everybody should stay out of her relationship. When you fighting with everyone, and I feel like this happened because there's a lot of. We did not get Dr. Eugene, and we all love Dr. Eugene. We got Dr. Eugenia this time, and this is really like we don't want it. At this point, it's because he's fallen into, instead of him just being Dr. Eugene, he's fallen into like, I'm going to back up Toya no matter what she does. And, in Overdrive 2.0, Quad snapped on Giselle. Sure did. And Quad was memorable. And that's one thing we know for sure. She might be able to run Potomac, that Giselle, but she is no match for Miss Quad. Miss Quad, she got it. She got it. So yeah, Quad let her have it over there in that very pleasant Southern tone that she likes to use. I hate her wig. Let me just get that out of my system. I hated it before and close up. This wig is terrible, Quad. Just stop with the blonde nonsense and the glued foreheads. Toya provides all the ammunition for the criticism of her husband. Now, Eugene is a wealthy doctor, and we watch him do all the things for Toya. And there's not a doubt in my mind that there's plenty of women out there like Sweet Tea trying to I do give you what she ain't giving you or whatever the hell. I can give you what you want. sweet tea. It's plenty of sweet teas out there looking for Dr. Eugene. Now, Dr. Eugene has a beauty standard. He's been with Toya all these years. And so it would take quite a beautiful woman, to replace her if that was the case. I'm saying this because I went back and I'm going to show a clip from this week. Carlos did an interview with Quad and Dr. Heavenly. And he also did an interview with Eugene and Toya, but I'll save that one for next week because we didn't really get into Eugene and Toya. But this week he did one with Heavenly and Quad. So, but over here with Quad and her energy and anger towards everyone, because she came in here popping off. She sits up here on this sofa as if she's the queen of the night. She's poor Quad. She's so delusional. You had this party. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Before that, at Mimi and Steve had a party. I believe that was the first party of the season. Mimi and Steve had a party, and all the men sat around, and they was pretty much telling Eugene like how you cannot stand behind your wife no matter what. At some point, you need to put your big boy pants on. And I feel like that conversation started because Curtis was over there, trying to defend that bullshit he did when Toya called him touchy feely. He's in his feelings about it, but the truth is the truth, Curtis. But I feel like the men were amping him up to put his wife in his place, and you can't stand behind her, when she's wrong. Toya really flipped the story of how she disrespects her husband and to the ladies being fake about their lives. She did. She's delusional. It's like you sitting there listening to her talk like, am I crazy or is it her? I don't remember how things happening that way. Then this party comes. And Eugene got it in his head. They said the man hadn't had nothing to eat. He might have had a few cocktails in him. And I don't believe for a second that the Dr. Eugene we get on TV is the same as who Eugene probably is at home. Nobody acts the same in public as they do at home. I mean, as far as how they talk to each other. So they probably, I believe Eugene gets spicy. Hey, Shayna. Did you watch? I know you watched the show. You probably already reviewed it. I got to come out of my, notebook and go see what's going on out there. I think y'all check out Shayna. Shayna does review the Real Housewives of not Real Housewives. You did Potomac. I mean, Married to Medicine, child. Shayna also reviews Married to Medicine, Loving Marriage Huntsville, and the Bell Collective right now. We are over here on the same schedules on the weekends. So when you leave here, go check her out and see what Shayna be talking about over there because she's very funny. And she's very nice. And she has great energy. That's why I keep going over there all the time. Me, chasing butterflies. Eugene got to this party and decided he was going to stand up to his wife in front of these men, and it backfired. And whatever he did, that lady flipped her shit. She called, get your ass up and lead like a leader around here. You said you wanted to lead somebody. Now you're acting a fool in front of all these MNFers, because she was calling them bitches and MNFers. You more want to impress them rather than worry about me, your wife. And the people was like, oh shit, I guess it's time to go because these people are starting to fight and it's getting ugly. And she wants people, she said, to calm her down when she gets in that. Eugene been on everybody's nerves lately, Shayna. That's because it's not Eugene, it's Eugina. We got Eugina with this season and we don't like it. So after she snapped out, Eugina chased her right into the kitchen. Sorry. People argue. They do all kinds of things. I'm not even going to get into kind of toxic behavior I'll be exhibiting. But behind closed doors, you don't do that when guests are over and then be mad at them when they have an opinion about it. What is their name? Mimi. She said this shit was cringy or whatever term she used to you know what I'm saying, to describe what was going on. And we've all been in that position where we like, These people are going to punch each other. They're acting like we're not here, hollering and screaming at each other. It's uncomfortable. Calm down, Toya. I believe that's what Mimi said. Be in your soft space. You bitches are talking behind my back. It was a hot mess. And people were saying she was drunk. She said she wasn't drunk. So this is her on sober. So Latoya, I don't know like where you came from with this story, but she came out ready to get everybody. She on the couch, firing. Jackie said, she said at some point Curtis sat down and tried to have a conversation with Eugenia. Curtis is the last person that should be talking to anyone. You better check yours. Jackie, you can't defend Curtis. So anything you say, Jackie, all she could say is, you better look at your own. You better check your own marriage. Yeah, Jackie, I don't think Eugene is out here courtesing. That's not what's happening over here. Every time we see Big Kurt, we think about him walking through the airport with that lady, the red wig on. That's why we keep bringing it up. Now he's always in the Dominican Republic, so we don't really care for Curtis at all over here. Is it me? Like, we talk a lot of smack about Cecil, but we like him. And we usually love Dr. Eugenia, but this time we do not. So Eugenia, whatever his name is, we don't like this, Dr. Eugenia, but we do like Eugene. Curtis, we don't care for Dr. Jackie, and we don't care for you either. Dr. Jackie sitting up there looking beautiful in her 60s. I'm gonna give her that. We still don't. I haven't forgiven Dr. Jackie for all the lazy black women comment. Yeah, Jackie should have just kept her mouth shut because she's no match for Toya. And unless she's ready to come out of pocket, that's why she keeps Heavenly around. Unless you're ready to come out of pocket and get low, then you don't even argue with Toya. Quad knows how to do it. She just does it in a manner that use all those polite words that you say when you live in the South. Detroit versus the South. I love it. Anyway, yes, Curtis is handsy Jackie. So you should just probably just stay out of this one. Just sit back. Just sit back. Toya admitted that her behavior at the party was horrible. Toya is only admitting this because, they all stay on the internet. They stay on blogs, on lives. Toya, she wasn't so much on live, but she was tweeting things. And then, Miss Simone, Dr. Simone, they stayed on live. And then when we had comments about it, they got mad at us. So Dr. Simone, she need to turn your TV off. Turn your TV off. Because you over on Watch What Happens Live and down in the comments, getting pissed at us like commenting on the things that you said. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, your attitude was horrible, but we know that somewhere past that party, Dr. Eugenia got checked because he no longer was standing up to Toya, and all of a sudden it was them against the world. And I'm going to stand behind my wife. And anybody that says anything disrespectfully, even though she come out of her mouth crazy and it's, puts you in the line of fire, when they be saying the women that get their man killed. I don't know if she'd get him killed, but she'd darn sure get him out here embarrassed, defending her ass on some ridiculousness where you got to leave. You just got to exit the building. Wasn't him come up with that in Jamaica? If you get out of pocket, just go to your room. He's going to be always in his room because his wife is going to, get him in trouble trying to defend her. Yes, so Toya wants people to calmly talk to her, which I felt like that's what people were doing, but she needs to run away, throw in her closet with her cherry blossom tree, crying on her, wine bar in the closet, and she wants you to come and say, Toya. Quad did that. I feel like she said Angel did that. So some of the ladies went, even though she was dead ass wrong, and held her hand. So Toya, relax. You're wound up. You're wound up, girl. Calm down. We'll talk to Eugenia later, but let's just have a glass of wine and relax. That's what she needs. She doesn't need people like Dr. Mimi psychoanalyzing her because she's not your therapist. We don't want her over. Dr. Mimi's like, girl, you was over here acting a fool in front of everyone. You called me some bitches and I didn't even say nothing. So yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like that's okay. I'm gonna say this before I forget. So I might be all over the place, charge it to my heart, but my memory is not as good as it used to be. Um, Dr. Mimi cannot therapy her friends. You should not do that, Dr. Mimi. Nobody wants to be therapied without permission. And I think a therapist is something you should be able to choose, not somebody that, your friends have decided they're going to ambush you with or be a part of a friend group. Hey, can you imagine like being in a relationship with someone like that that's always trying to break down your every action? You know what I'm saying? It would probably be frustrating. Nobody likes that in a friendship either because you come off like a know-it-all. Don't try to tell me, you know what I'm saying? I've had conversations with friends about relationships because everybody's relationship is different. I've come over here many times and said, I don't want a ring. Okay, I'll take a ring. I'll definitely take a ring. I'll even take a party. You know what I'm saying? I won't take a contract. I don't want to be married to anyone. It's never been my dream. I've not ever wanted to be married to anyone, but I'm in long relationships. So it's not like I'm not monogamous because I definitely believe in that. But I'm not interested in being married to anyone. So I feel like a lot of times, especially if somebody's a therapist, I know my friend will try to view relationships based on the way she wants her relationship to be. And I'm like, that's not what I want though. So if you're a therapist, you can't be therapying your friends. You're gonna have to learn how to wrangle that and talking to them like they're children, and they needed to be guided. And you came to the wrong place for that. But I do appreciate that Mimi stands on business as it relates to Toya. She don't let Toya pull that bullshit, and Toya does not like to be called out. She likes to reserve the freedom to switch the story entirely around pretty much every time she tells a story where she act a fool, defending the things that she does. And that's just it. It's like, Eugene, come here for a minute. I just got a question for you. You think it's okay for your wife to walk up to some stranger and say, how is this lady in bed? And we'll get to that. But I'm just saying, Dr. Eugenia, do you think it's cool to defend that? Like the things that Toya does is completely out of line. All the way out of line. Heavenly as well. I feel like they're the same kind of person. So, Heavenly has no self control. She couldn't help chiming in on everybody's conversation. She looked like she was going to bust her ass out of that seat if she didn't get a chance to comment on every conversation that was happening, whether it included her or not. So, we're in the group chat, and Heavenly called this man's penis little. And thank you, Shayna. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I need all the help I can get over here. Again, where do we get this from? At this point, the way Dr. Eugenia acts, like I believe, like I said, Dr. Eugenia is a wealthy doctor. He's not bad looking. You know what I'm saying? He gives off nerdy. He doesn't have a particular swag that I think Detroit Latoya is interested in, to be honest. But he's a wealthy doctor. And I think different people like different things. He's a good guy, seemingly. That's what we get to see with Dr. Eugenia. He gonna be that for the rest of this reunion. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. I done got off my point. Oh, the whole penis thing. I believe he's wealthy. I believe he, great doctor, nice guy. I also believe that possibly his penis is small. And I don't mean like average, regular. Maybe it's not the size. He doesn't give me like, you know, that swag that often gets us ladies in trouble. But like I said, different people like different things. You put it out there. You told these people that, this man's penis was small. You gave them ammunition to go at you, to shut you up. It's just like your mama or like your girl, Brandy. Girl, bye. Brandy, we don't say girl, bye no more. So stop saying that. So this information, like I said, came from Toya. Hey, Kiwan, we all over here like getting down with the get down. I know Kiwan also. She gets into these married to medicines, and I've seen her over there with. She been in Beverly Hills, and I appreciate that because I've been watching Beverly Hills, but I've not been reviewing Beverly Hills. So if you're looking for my girl to come over here and break it down to you, get over there with Kiwan underscore J underscore TV. And if you want to get to a group chat and argue with Toya, call Dr. Eugenia's penis small. We're going to always do it. What else? That'll shut you up. And this is the thing, Toya. Had you come over to the group chat and say, hey, somebody left a bag over here at my house. If anybody's, looking for their purse, I have it. That's what you do when somebody leaves something at your house. If you go in the group chat and you say, hey, who left this fake ass bag over here at my house? Then they're going to say, hey, that's why your husband's penis is little. End of conversation. There's nothing left to say. What you going to say after that? So, girl, stop talking about what we did over here having conversations about your business when, you don't want putting your business out there. Was Heavenly wrong? Yeah. I wouldn't have done it. Because I don't think it's fair to take shots at someone else. Like if you're gonna shoot your shot, shoot it at Toya. But you want to shoot it at Dr. Eugenia. Hey Lakeisha. Mimi and Toya seem to not yeah, they don't like each other. But Toya she's not a nice person. She's not easy to get to know. Toya said that because she knew it was Heavenly's bag. She knew it was Heavenly's bag. So she could have actually said, hey, Toya, I said Dr. Eugenia. Yes, Kiwan. And that's who he's going to be for, the rest of the season. Because that's what he's acting like. She did know it was Heavenly's bag. So, Toya, don't get over here like, this lady had to come over here, attack my husband. She didn't have to do that, but she doesn't like you. And she knew it would piss you off. And she did it in a group chat. And everybody else on the other side of the group chat was giggling. Because it's funny because you did it to yourself. So anyway, that's where we started. Then we start talking about the gala. Oh my God, Toya did an amazing job. Amazing. Toya did such a beautiful job with the gala. Did not. That's a lie. Toya did not do an amazing job with the gala. They should be embarrassed, honestly, because at the end of the day, the point of a gala is to raise money. And where is Phaedra? As much as I can't stand Phaedra, I would love to get Phaedra's opinion. Phaedra wrote a check last year for $50,000. Y'all had $100,000 gala, and that was the bar. And y'all dropped it down to $10,000. That's embarrassing. Y'all had set a bar for $100,000. And I'm not sure, when did Toya, get take charge of whatever her position was? The decor was nice, and that's all. I agree, but I also think that depending on and I feel like Toya makes the same mistake every time she throws a party because she did the same thing for that Bridgerton party that she had for herself. But I feel like if you pick the right venue, then less money is spent on, and you can get a pretty good sized venue for I'm gonna say $2,000-$3,000. In Atlanta, let's say $5,000. $5,000 would get you a good venue where you don't have to spend all the money on the decor. You know what I'm saying? You could keep the decor elegant based on where you're at. It's Atlanta, so there's outside, rooftop, inside, outside things. There's a lot of things they could have done for their gala. It doesn't always have to be a ballroom. I'm so sick of these ballrooms with, high top tables and chicken wings. That's another thing. If there's chicken wings, you know what I'm saying? That should be, I don't know, the galas I've been through, and I'm talking about through corporate where I was going on somebody else's dime, galas, brunches. There's, full meals. There's full meals, not chicken wings. You never pay more for the party than you bringing in donations. And I didn't understand, the art was there. There should be people, y'all auctioned off a glass bowl that you found at a store. I'm not understanding if this is going to be the end of every season. And I think it's a great thing. We should look forward to the gala. They acting like they had no idea, we just gonna throw something together. I've never been invited to anything where I did not know the location until 48 hours before. What if I'm busy and didn't get the text, or you know what I'm saying? So many things. Chicken wings at a gala is ridiculous. I am in a ball gown. I should be sitting at a table. When you go to a wedding reception, you get to sit down and eat. Let's see what you said, Lakeisha. This is what happens when there's a group of women. Some of them are going to be, no, I don't even like to frame it like that because, it could be a group of people. Clearly, the men aren't getting along any better. But I will say this is what happens when you don't have the appropriate people organizing your event. And these events take committees. That's why people have committees, all the way down to when you were in high school and the prom committee. And they're like, who's in charge of decorations? Who's in charge? You put people in places and organize things, because if Toya hadn't come to them, 4 weeks in advance, let's don't say 2 weeks. You guys knew you were having a gala since last time. So, did anybody buy the art? Clearly not. They handed over, unless they use, I don't know. It should have. It should have. And by the way, they gave these girls $5,000, and it is $250,000 or more at the average for medical school. Last time Phaedra counted all the money. She did. They didn't know, they didn't show that this time, but I feel like that's because last time they were filming it in order to embarrass Phaedra, because she said, let's pay 100,000. And I'm with Phaedra. I agree with her that whole time. If you could cover it, and you guys should have friends that have the money. I'm sorry. You don't buy tickets to a gala where your table is already purchased. That's why you buy the table. When you sell a table, you say, this is a table of 8 for $5,000. That means the 8 people that you invite, they come in. And logic would say, these people came to spend money. Why am I asking them for $150 at the door? And Dr. Eugenia, why you backing your wife up on this bullying of Mimi? Because that's what it was all about. I'm not sure why she didn't include Brandy. This is your friend. Latoya didn't include you because she doesn't think you're like a real part of the group. Because these will get together. Unfortunately, there's cracks in the group, so that won't work at the moment. But they will get together, have conversations, and then boot somebody out. Quad, Mariah. That's what they do. So you weren't included because Toya don't think of you like that. She thinks of you as, Brandy will have my side. I brought her over here. I've never seen Toya be a friend to anyone. No one. Unless you're kissing her ass. And at the moment, it seems like you are. But you'll find out. You'll get your head out of her ass sooner or later. Yeah, I thought it was crazy they were gassing her up and saying that she did, this great job with the gala, because she did not. You're serving chicken wings at your gala. That should be for the people that just bought a ticket. Have a little, cocktail table for them. And the table people get to eat food. Jeez. But Miss Fancy Toya, she know what to do, I suppose. Yeah, $5,000. She made a text message lab coat. She thought that was a flex too. So you went out and had a lab coat made because they like to come over these reunions with props. But Toya, you had all these messages from all these women and you didn't answer them. Why is that? You were overwhelmed. You were overwhelmed because you didn't answer the text. Doesn't, again, we're supposed to feel sorry for Toya though. Brandy bought her ticket the day of because she didn't tell anyone about the tickets. Brandy shouldn't have had to buy a ticket. I don't know where Toya and Eugene, I didn't get a chance to go back. I didn't have time. Toya bought free wine the first time, did not donate. Did her and Eugene buy tickets last year? No, they did not. Because the cast doesn't. Steve and Mimi didn't buy a ticket, but they donated $5,000. And I believe they would have, again, y'all are trying to twist it around and make it seem like Steve said he wasn't donating. He was not donating, buying through the group. Like either I'm in the group, because at that conversation was about finding out who in the group was going to make a contribution to this cause. And Steve said, I'm not, because y'all are not including my wife. She feels like she's been excluded. So y'all figure that number out without me. That doesn't mean I'm not coming. And that doesn't mean I'm not donating. I did, donate. Yeah, she did an okay job. It wasn't all that. And then, like, as far as the wearing wearable art, these people showed up with dresses. Toya only pointed out that Heavenly just wore a boring dress. Everybody's dress was basically boring because hell, they didn't know what they were doing. Side note: I did like that red dress that the contestant had on, but first at the house, like that dress was cute, and all she needed was a little double-sided tape to keep her. I'm gonna be nice, but her boobs be seemingly having a mind of their own. So she did need some, double-sided tape to clear that. That one thing that Contessa gonna do, she got a closet full of metallic dresses. Every dress that lady put on is metallic. Toya and Eugene had already made their mind up that they was going to reject them at the door. They did. It was the whole plot. I can hear Toya with that stupid laugh. We gonna get to the door. Oh, and then Brandy was a second thought. Okay, we got to call Brandy and tell her she got to get a ticket because everybody else needs to know that they have to buy a ticket. Was Angel there? I don't remember. The most beautiful lady in the room is the most forgettable. That's sad. I think she might have been there. I don't remember. Um, yes, Mimi is the one whose child is autistic. Mimi is also, her and her husband both have been involved on boards. I think they don't have a problem donating to good causes. That the art should have been a contribution to you know why they give them the checks? You know what I'm saying? The physical checks. So I feel like y'all then already had it made up in your mind that you were only going to give $5,000 donations because if you had tallied up all the money, we're supposed to be auctioning off this art. You should have had money. You know what I'm saying? At the end, like when Phaedra painted it up and tallied everything up based on the money made in the moment, and then say, we have, raised this much money to donate to these two ladies, you know what I'm saying? And then have the checks printed afterwards. So yeah, they already had their mind made up. The $5,000 for $300 schooling, $300,000 worth of schooling was going to be a good idea. It wasn't a good look. And I really feel like they're only saying that Toya did a good job because it's a reflection on everybody. Because everybody should be held responsible for this foolishness. I can't even remember the venue, to be honest. I guess it looked like another ballroom to me. Um, Quad and King. Andy wants to get into that. Quad said life happens. So we was together, now we're not. I don't know why everybody is so determined to call Quad and King's relationship fake. I definitely don't think it was fake. I think some truth to what Eugene said is that they got in their relationship and they were smashing like rabbits all over the place. And King agreed. Kirk, we calling him Kirk now. Kirk agreed to the IVF journey, but the rush was because of her age. Like they didn't have the luxury to go into this relationship um and take their time and get to know each other and fall in love. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there was a conversation had and they agreed to it. And did it play on the relationship stress? Yeah, I would imagine so. You don't really start getting into it after the first year. That's when stuff starts getting hard. And you start trying to decide like whether y'all really even like each other or not. And I feel like that's where they're at. But she's on a TV show. King and Dr. Eugenia are new besties, and this is so annoying. And I didn't pull up the picture, but I'm sure everybody saw the pictures at the basketball game with Simone and King and Toya and Eugene. What is that all about? Because they're best friends with King? I just don't believe that. I don't believe they're best friends with King. Apparently, for one of her kids' birthday, King loaned out one of the cars. That's cool. I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Let him, be flashy or whatever. What you say, Simone being a doctor knows the time was limited. Why ask that question? Simone is psychotic. I don't know if that's the right description, but when someone is so overcome with anger, and I feel like I'm finally putting the pieces together as to what her problem is. Simone said, let me ask this question. And you could tell me no or, whatever, but if you and King couldn't figure out like where you wanted to live or, whether or not you wanted to get married, why so much to push into, IVF? This is a stupid question. I agree, T. Um, what do you mean? I have a nice house. He has a nice house. We could just come over each other's house. That's not something that has to be figured out immediately. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people are perfectly happy that way when you don't have to live under the same roof and be bothered with each other every single night. And she's like, I'm not. And also, when you first get together, I'm not sure 15 times a week is a lot, but there is a lot of smashing and cooking and clean. Me and my man got together right at COVID. So, everybody was getting fat and laying around. After that was over, then you start to see what real life looks like, where people are leaving the house. So, in the beginning, it's always sweet. Yes, the IVF adds another level, but obviously, she don't have time. They're both mature people. We're not talking about young people. King is grown enough. He has a daughter, and he probably thought, I wouldn't mind. He's a Jamaican man. They probably shooting for that boy child, so he was on board. Yes, he's a sperm donor. Thank you. I'm glad you said it because isn't that what they all are, Dr. Simone? Her energy, child, her energy, her timing was very much off. So remember when the season first started? Simone was mad. I mean, yeah, Dr. Simone was mad at Quad. And she was talking about how Quad thinks she gonna come over here on her playground, but this is her playground. And she had a whole bag of stuff she was gonna spill. She was mad at Quad. And we were like, what happened? She's still mad at Quad. She's mad at Quad because Quad went on Watch What Happens Live and said I would be the castmate to go on Traitors. And we were like the TV show Traitors. That's what made you angry, and your retaliation is to go over on Sweet T's podcast or whatever she had going on over there and say who's paying her mortgage. That's where it started. Simone and Heavenly were perfectly fine. All of her anger was directed towards Quad. So, she's shooting her shot over here. Is he just a sperm donor? Because she's still feeling a way about Quad. I'm starting to think the problem with Quad is the same problem with Dr. Jackie, and that's that they have chosen Heavenly. Not over her. They willing to be her friend still, but they are not willing to just get rid of Heavenly. That's her problem. Contessa said, well, it seemed like from the outside in that King lost interest. Like at first he wanted to have the baby, and then after time went by, he lost interest. So Toya is King's spokesperson. He wanted to be here, but Quad didn't want him here. That's what Tessa said. You didn't want him here. And Quad said, I didn't say that. No, he said that. He told his new friend Toya that he wanted to be there because he feels like there was more of the story to tell. No, there isn't, King. We don't care. We don't need to hear any more from you. Y'all were together. You were Quad's good friend, boyfriend, possibly baby daddy. It didn't work out. Y'all broke up. We're done. We don't have no questions for King. Toya wants to be messy because she was on Carlos King's channel talking about how she feels like, I feel like they broke up a long time before. Now King is over here saying stuff to Eugene and they pillow talking and things. And now you want to bring it up over here. Why? Because you and Quad are cool, except for not really. Toya is a friend to no one. So, and Quad is well aware of that. I think Quad has her like at arm's length away. I'll be over here and have conversations with them. I feel like Quad went out of her way to make sure that she communicated with these ladies while they weren't filming because they're always like, you don't talk to us when we're not filming. Heavenly and Jackie are closer than Jackie and Simone. I don't think that's the case. I think that's the case now, but I think that's all on Simone because the rift between Heavenly and Simone didn't have to happen. Simone shouldn't have never told Heavenly her business. We know that Heavenly can't be trusted like that. If she gets mad, she gonna say it. Everybody has learned this lesson. She had a whole YouTube channel where she did it, and they were like, "You over here telling our business." So if you go ahead and put your hand in the mouth of a daggone lion, then don't be surprised when he bites your hand off. You got to keep people at arm's length. Whew. They introduced Brandy and Angel. The newbies came in. Angel is a nurse, a mom, an actress, a video vixen. But she's still boring. She's pretty as she want to be, but she's still boring. When they discuss like bringing people back, should we bring this person back? Should we bring that person back? I say just bring Angel back. It's fine. She could just be a filler person. I don't think like it's necessary to shake things up. So Angel is boring. She had her little movie. That's why I kind of took a break, honestly. She doesn't have a husband, but that's okay because she's in the medical field. Um, yeah. She's less I don't know. I think Brandy has a bigger personality than Angel. So yeah, bring them both back. But Angel didn't have a whole lot going on. She told the story about when she sprayed the lanacane in her throat. That makes me concerned when she's a nurse. I feel like the nurse would say, "Don't do that." Yeah, I think they should bring everybody back. And for the most part, um, I guess we just didn't get to see a lot of Angel. One thing I will say about Angel, she's soft spoken, but she handled Toya. And that ain't easy. She handled Toya like, you know what I'm saying? But she was on Watch What Happens Live and she was really boring over there too, but it's okay. Contessa's hating ass and Brandy's birthday party. Contessa know how to remix as good as Toya does because she came in here talking about what did she say? She said, I just never heard it put this way. I can apologize if I came to your party in your mind with anything other than grace, for you. And I was like, are you apologize if in your mind, Contessa came to Brandy's party because, it wasn't a party actually. Brandy repeatedly calls it a dinner, a birthday dinner. Brandy had a birthday dinner. Contessa keeps calling it a party. Nobody else called it a party. Contessa said that Brandy was talking about her before she even got there. Brandy was not. That was Dr. Heavenly. They flashed, showed a clip of Dr. Heavenly saying, "So your husband did this for you?" And Brandy's like, "Yeah." And she was like, and Contessa's husband didn't do it for her. And Brandy just made a face for what I can remember. She didn't even engage in that. So that's not what happened. They were not talking behind your back. Brandy was at your party helping you set up or whatever you were doing. She spent $40,000 on a party. They were saying how great the party was. I guess the money went to the entertainment because she did have some entertainment there that we didn't see. But Brandy was there helping, and the whole entire time, Contessa was talking about how nobody's ever thrown me a birthday party. This is my first birthday party. I just, I wanted to have, Scott isn't doing anything. I thought that he would step up. This is what we heard her through that whole episode complain about how Scott ain't shit. And then we see Scott like at the house chilling, eating chicken wings, not giving a damn about her birthday party. All we seen Scott do was show up in his pimp outfit. She said Brandy's husband brought them chicken and Scott had Contessa cooking chicken. We are not the same. He did. And he did nothing. I don't believe he paid for it either. She didn't even say anything about him paying for it until after, she started getting embarrassed by this dinner that she kept calling a party just so she could talk shit on it. It was just so irritating. And we're like, Contessa, we all heard you. She did the same thing to Heavenly. That's why Heavenly was like, I'm not getting in this shit because this is the same thing that happened to me. She talked all that shit about her husband and then said she didn't say it. And that's not what it was. So this is, what she's doing over here with Brandy. But Brandy was here for her. Brandy held her, I'm coming in soft. It's okay. I'll let you speak. When you're done, I'm going to say my part. And at the end of the day, Brandy has four little children. I feel like that's why she was so grateful. You know what I'm saying? Just for her husband to be like, it's your birthday. Go ahead. Have a good time with the girls. I'll pay for it. Tell them to go ahead and, get whatever they want. She never framed it as anything more than that. Um, as far as Contessa can go, I never wanted Contessa to come back, but here she is, that she was better as a friend of, that she could put her on the friend of chair. Isn't it interesting that Dr. Heavenly was a friend of this season, but they didn't bring her in with Brandy and Angels, and she's held a full spot. We talked to her about her life and everything. So I feel like even as a friend of, a lot of this season was about Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly proved another thing, Andy Cohen, that she can work part-time and still be a big part of your season. So anyway, Brandy has all these kids. Her husband, sent her and her friends out to dinner. I don't think it's odd. I feel like it would be normal for you to be like, hey guys, say thank you to my husband. And then she was the one that proceeded to continue with the thank you. She didn't ask them to keep doing it. She was just like, thanks, babe. Thank you, babe. That was her. That was her feeling. But I mean, after I seen all them kids, I was like, no wonder why she's so grateful. She wants to get out and talk to grown people and get away from Miss Rachel and Barney and stuff. They're not watching Barney. Whoever they're watching. Rachel and Elmo, that's who we watch over here. I don't watch Bluey, but I heard Bluey is the new king of the town. Anyway, she was having some adult time. So she was the only one. Contessa, I mean, why am I thanking him so many times for some chicken wings? It seemed like a nice little spot to get together. And again, this lady Brandy never called her event a party. She said it was a dinner. And Scott ain't do shit for you. And I don't feel like he still is. I don't think Scott's that guy. And y'all been married like for freaking ever. So they don't usually turn into that guy. Did you ever tell Scott, hey, you know what I want for my 50th party? I want you to throw it for me. Did you do that? Or you just wanted him to read your mind? Because I had a birthday party and I said, it was a birthday dinner. It wasn't a birthday party, but I was like, you know what I want for my birthday? I told my daughter, I want you to get all my friends together and just like for a dinner. I just want you to plan it. I don't want to do anything. And we went to Ocean Prime and we had the best time ever. Did you tell Scott? Because if I hadn't told my daughter, then I would have had to plan it myself. So you want somebody to read your mind. Oh, you think she was saying it was possibly what whoever she was saying thank you to? I feel like she was just really that grateful. Can you imagine? You know how it is with one child, how you be like, I just want to go out and be around grown people. She got 4 of them. Brandy's husband needs to time out for God. Let that lady relax. She's a doctor and she has all those kids and she has a husband, which means she got him to take care of too, because husbands require a hell of a lot more than kids do a lot of times. I'm just saying. Anyway, I feel like Brandy got Contessa together. So good job, Brandy, on your first reunion. Also, Mimi and Brandy. I like Dr. Mimi, like I said, but I think she was dead wrong walking up to Brandy telling her to watch who she keeps her company with. You don't know this lady. And, Dr. Heavenly is over there being ignorant. So, yeah, let her choose for herself. I feel like nobody needs you to say, like, who my friends are going to be, Dr. Mimi. She's sitting up right there with that one glove. That was irritating me. Mimi talks about raising a special needs child, which I think is fantastic that they included this in the season. I feel like there was a lot of moms out there that related to what she is going through. And okay, so she has a special needs child. She's a doctor. and she does have her husband, but and she has another child that doesn't require special needs. So, there's trying to balance that. Whereas both of your children get the attention that they need. It's a lot. And, they all gave her kudos for doing a good job. Even Toya, I mean, I don't know what she was going to do. Even Toya had to speak positivity on it because, she would look more of a fool than she already does. Steve and Eugene are going at it backstage. And Eugene is, I think he's just standing behind his wife trying to exclude um Mimi. And that's where the problem lies. And if he would have been straight up with Steve, and not, he should have said that's not right. You're here with her, Toya. We are not doing that. Open your mouth. We're not doing that. It's going to embarrass everyone. It's just going to cause more problems. If you're going to stand up, this would be the time to do it. Now you got to deal with these men again. And you don't have your best friend Kirk there to, have your back. Mimi was wrong for telling her who to be cool with. I agree 100%. Brandy was wrong for sitting there with Toya talking shit in Heavenly's event. Brandy might be a little bit messy. I was going to say that too. Like, Mimi, how do you know that she, who she aligns herself with? People like we used to do with Robin. We used to be like, if Robin would just get away from Giselle, and I'm like, oh, Robin is a mean bitch too. They're just two mean bitches. I don't feel like she's here for the shits. Maybe Brandy is here for the shits. We're getting to know her. She did go and watch What Happens Live and say that she thinks Dr. Heavenly is going to lose. I don't think she's going to be in Congress. I think there was a more diplomatic way for her to answer that, but she might be messy just like Toya. So yeah, maybe they are birds that come from the same feather, flocking together. Steve and Eugene are going back and forth. And Eugene asked Steve, after you said you weren't going to donate, like, I didn't expect to see you there. You said you were out. Why were you even there? What do you mean, why were they even there? When you know darn well why we're there. They're cast members. This is the Met Gala. All the cast members come. I want to go back. Did Eugene and Toya buy tickets last year or did they go? I don't feel like that was a requirement. Nobody was talking about tickets last year. So, is this a new rule that they implemented over in their bedroom when Toya decided how she was going to embarrass them at the door and punish them? And Dr. Simone was like, they donated $5,000 last year. You don't exclude people, who are here donating money. And again, I'm like, so then maybe things were shot out of sequence. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't get to see the part, where they counted all the, we wasted so much time for them, fighting over, whatever Latoya did. But Eugene, you sound so silly. Then they start, pointing at each other and throwing fuckity fucks around. So that's where they at with it. He really like down to confront. First of all, it felt like Curtis' messy self was ready to get the shit started because Steve came in. He was just sitting there, and Curtis was like, "You feeling antsy? You're acting antsy." He antsy because he was ready to, go at it with Eugene. So Dr. What's the name? Heavenly husband, Dr. Damon Daddy. I don't want to see you guys fight. Okay, Dr. Damon Daddy. One thing Steve said, do you want to be one of the women? Do you want to be one of the women? Because you acting like one. I want y'all men to stop doing that. Stop bringing us into your shit. Stop saying acting like women. Because y'all be bitches just the same. So what y'all are doing is acting like bitches. Heavenly in Congress. So Andy wants to play a game about Heavenly being in Congress. It was cute. It was a little shady game, but he did bring up her son and his mental health issues. That's something that we didn't know. We know her son got in trouble, and there was a lot of rumors out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. little bit with her explaining what was going on with her son. She said it a little bit over here. She said that he had a mental health breakdown and that Dr. Mimi helped coach her through it. She also said during the season that, that he came home and she fussed him out really bad and he left. And I remember, because I mean, I don't know like what his issues were or what happened then or what the fussing out was about, but I remember my brother moved back to Florida. He had been living in California and he was a diabetic. He came home and he started having a diabetic seizure. And I was in bed. I didn't see it. I just, no, I didn't see the beginning of it. But he started having a diabetic seizure and my mother was cussing his ass out. She thought he was on drugs and she was like, I can't believe you come back here, and stay in my house and now you're going to be doing drugs. She thought he was on drugs. And thankfully, it wasn't his time. Thankfully, he was able to get some sugar in his system. But yeah, I don't know what the fussing out was about with Heavenly and her son and how that all played out. But yeah, let me just play this of her over on Carlos' channel. Just this part. Y'all check it out. It's a good interview.
I know it played out on the show, but my son, I have not seen him since. I haven't seen him in a while, almost a year now. I said it on the show. I don't know if it's played already, but if everybody knows that he got arrested, it was a big thing, and my husband did take care of it. I think what a lot of people may not know, but they know now. After the show played, my son had a mental health emergency, and I did not. As a dentist and my husband is a physician, we did not know what to do. We didn't know that you were supposed to dial 988 and things like that. So Dr. Mimi was very instrumental in helping us through that situation. And that was after he was arrested. He was given a medication that he had a very bad side effect to it. He actually became catatonic and he could not move. He could not speak. And so when we took him to the hospital, he got better. He refused to take anything. And I don't blame him, right? Yeah. But we did get him into a medical facility. And because he was 25 at the time, 28 at the time, he's 28 now, 27 at the time, 25 when he was arrested, 28 at the time, he's an adult. So they didn't have to tell us anything. Even being a doctor and him being on our medical insurance and everything, they would not give us any information. And they treated him until his insurance ran out. And then they released him. And I have not seen him since.
Has he contacted you? Have you guys been texting?
Yes. When I first announced that I was running for a state representative, my son texted me. He said, "Is this real, Mommy? Are you running for office?" I said,
I don't want to do too much. That definitely puts more context, on what they were saying. Maybe that's why he was never on the show. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, maybe this is something obviously they've been dealing with because he hasn't ever been on the show. And I'm glad she finally said it because it put to rest the rumors. And you hear that all the time. Like when you listen to, what her platform is, because at first you're like, why are you bringing your son into it? You know what I'm saying? We were like, he, assaulted or, had an encounter with a police officer, but now that we have this information, and I get, her trying to protect her son, but I wish she would have just said this in the beginning. And now I understand why over there in Jamaica, Dr. Damon Daddy was like, don't say nothing about my son. So this may be information that Eugene and Toya already had. You know what I'm saying? This may be something that, or, maybe not. I don't know how much they knew or, how much he's a college graduate. But this is clearly something that he's dealing with now. So I'm glad she said it. It's a good interview. When I watched this interview, I was like, okay, Dr. Heavenly, she might win. She's not in my district. I don't have to vote for her. And if I was Toya and, Dr. Simone, I probably wouldn't. Why would you vote for somebody you don't like? That's neither here nor there. But Dr. Simone did make it a point to go, and they talk about it over on this podcast about Simone going out talking about you will be a fool to vote for this fool. Like you don't even have to say nothing. But just Simone and Toya, when they get nasty, they get really nasty. They do some low down dirty shit. Toya kept trying to bring it up all season. She did, but I feel like when nobody finna say it to Toya. And it's the way she was doing it. It was more like, what happened with your son? I heard he got arrested. Yeah, she could have talked about it, but maybe she did. We don't know. I doubt it. She talked about it here a little bit, but she went a little more in depth over there on Carlos' channel. I think that was prior to the reunion, so that's probably why he's just now dropping it. She said Mimi helped her through it. That explains Mimi's loyalty to Dr. Heavenly because they have a personal relationship. And Toya said, they are mean girls. Toya said that her and Mimi don't talk outside of the show. Like they're only on a text thread. They don't have any type of relationship. And we could tell, but I mean, how do you have a relationship with somebody you don't care for? Welcome to the chat, Jocelyn Stewart. We love to hear y'all's input over here. They not girls. Them is some mean old ladies. Toya almost 50. She too old for this behavior. So back over to Watch What Happens Live. Oh, I know what happened in this moment, which I thought was so when Heavenly is like breaking down, you can hear like it was difficult for her to share this. Right when she shares this story about what happened with her son, and however you feel about Heavenly, a human person can sympathize with a mom who is going through this type of situation with your child where you feel like you can't do anything and they're grown and you feel helpless. Here comes Simone. Well, FYI, just so you know, I don't come over here when it's time to film making things up. It happens organically. Okay, I don't know that Dr. Heavenly ever said that. She didn't say that in that moment. And we all, not we all, because I don't know. I feel like everything that she was saying over there is how it is. She just came back afterwards to try to clean it up. But yeah, you brought your business over here. And I'm like, the timing is terrible. Like in that moment where everybody is like feeling sympathy, like I said, not so much for Heavenly, but for her son and what they're going through. You want to talk about what you do with your filming. Simone was so focused on coming for Heavenly that she looked unhinged, just like the lady said. Yeah, you brought your family fallout over here. Heavenly responds with, the problem, Simone, the difference between me and you, Simone, is because my husband is too good to me. She gonna get you there every time. You shouldn't have told her that. And at the end of the day, if I was Simone, I wouldn't fuck with Heavenly, really. Excuse me. I wouldn't mess with Heavenly. She couldn't be my friend. But I mean, if Jackie, if that's your friend, like that's on you. But asking her to choose, like that's really what she wants. It bothers her not just from now, but from all the way in the beginning. And Jackie is like, y'all be falling out. I don't know what y'all cool, y'all not cool. Jackie went on Watch What Happens Live. Andy asked her about this darn push and shove thing that didn't happen. And Jackie will not get off the fence. Simone wants her off the fence. She wants to take a side. I think they were both doing too much. So if we go back to this famous night at Angel's get together where everybody was in there popping off. So Dr. Heavenly tried to walk away from them. They came over there trying to challenge her about being a congresswoman and you're going to need to deal with this stuff from time to time. Now, this is after, because there was no issue with Simone. But what Heavenly did was tell Quad that Simone was over there looking up the VIN numbers on the car. And that was something that had happened a long time ago. I think it was just conversation. I don't think Dr. Heavenly was like over there like, by the way, this happened. I think it was just conversation. She was like, yeah, Simone be looking up everything. She wanted to look at the VIN in your car. And I don't think that particular thing, that thing that didn't matter so much, is the reason why Simone is so mad. Simone don't want Jackie to be friends with Heavenly at all. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I also feel like when she sees when Quad gave us her ass to kiss, when she sees Quad sitting over there so supportive of Heavenly, that bothers her too. That's why she keeps coming for Quad. And then Dr. Jackie and Quad develop some type of bond over this IVF journey. And I feel like it's genuine. As much as I can't stand Jackie, I feel like this bond between Jackie and Quad, going through this journey of IVF is genuine. And Simone hates that. It's like looking at Jackie over there, having relationships with the people that she hates the most. But, that's on Simone. Because, like I said, I wouldn't fool with Heavenly either. But you was the one over there telling Heavenly your business. Heavenly gonna bring it up and throw it in your face. I wouldn't tell Heavenly anything about me personally. She's done it to Quad even. Her and Quad have fallen out over Heavenly. She did it when this Kirk broke up. She was on TV talking about this is what I think and telling all the business. So if the business is something you don't want shared, Heavenly is definitely not the one person to tell it to. Now you want Jackie, who really said nothing. What Jackie said was, I think they both misinterpreted what was going on. Heavenly was over there. She didn't know Simone was that pissed off. She put her arm around Simone. Simone threw her arm off. It was aggressive. It wasn't like she came over there and pushed the lady, but she did like move it off aggressively. And Heavenly, that doesn't mean you feel like you were in any type of danger, but you want to run around talking about you don't feel safe. You were doing that to antagonize the lady. Now, Simone wants to act like this is somehow going to damage her reputation and, put her license at jeopardy. Stop it. None of that is going to happen. If they haven't watched your big mouth, you was over there charging at Quad at the last reunion, all kind of MNFers and slobbering at the mouth and stuff. So that didn't get you in any type of trouble. This little tiff between you and Heavenly won't either. And Jackie said, I think they misinterpreted both of them what was going on. So this question, do you think that Dr. Simone is a threat to anyone? And Dr. Jackie saying, no, she's not. I don't remember him asking it like that. So Simone is like, why didn't she say that on Watch What Happens Live? But I don't think he answered the question that way. So, if you're going to pick a reason to be mad at Jackie, this is a stupid reason to be mad at her. Simone is loud, in your face, aggressive. The way she removed Heavenly's arm was aggressive. You didn't say, get off of me. You grabbed it and get your hands off of me. And I think Heavenly didn't realize she was mad like that. That's why for Heavenly feels like it was a push. And they are both like, I just don't think it's that serious. And I think they both took it way to this, I don't feel safe thing with Heavenly. And this, I might lose my license things with Simone. This is from years back. Simone has always wanted it. She keeps on trying to be cool with Heavenly because of Jackie, but that doesn't mean you have to tell her your personal business. And every time you do it, every time you confide in Heavenly, on Mad Day, she went out of that party. You just mad because what's going on in your household. You shouldn't have told her what was going on in your household because you know how she is. And then for me, that's the reason not to fool with her. I couldn't fool with Heavenly no more than on the surface. She couldn't be somebody like in my real life because she can't be trusted to keep her mouth shut. She's definitely not somebody you confide in. Andy said Heavenly is a wedge in their friendship. I was like not sure where angle Andy was coming from. I'm like, so does he think Heavenly is a wedge? Is he not feeling Heavenly, or is he not feeling Jackie? He just wants Jackie to take a side. I don't think taking a side is necessary. Oh, my phone just died. I was like, uh-oh, are y'all still here? I don't think Heavenly is a wedge in their friendship. I think Simone is immature and that whole pick me or pick her situation. And I don't know what that's going to do for her, honestly. You said when Simone was cool with Jackie, she talked about Toya. Sure did. She doesn't. I feel like maybe that's why her and Toya cling to. You said, so do you like Toya or do you need a friend? She needs a friend because there's a time when her and Toya was about to go at it and they had to snatch people back. And I think the same thing for Toya. Without Simone, who's Toya's friends? Brandy's too new. And it'll never be Jackie. So she always does this thing where she wants to come for Jackie. It doesn't work because, Jackie is a doctor that carries weight around here. Um, Heavenly says you shouldn't touch anyone in an argument. Y'all was already touching. I still think they still refuse to see what actually happened. I feel like Heavenly is pissed because the way Simone removed her arm, like I said, it was aggressive. It wasn't a push, but she didn't like it. And, she feels like the lady was manhandling her, even though she was the one doing the touching. I don't want you touching me either if we're pissed. There was a whole lot. It was a whole lot going on. um, Jackie be thinking she can Maya Angelou herself out of any situation. She got to get up out of her seat and walk over there and have a talk with Simone and hold her hand and it's just you and me. And Simone is sitting there with tears running down her face. And at the end of the day, her requirement is for Jackie to pick a side. She wants Jackie to choose between her and Heavenly, and she said she is done. You know what? Side note. When Jackie, was catching all that heat about, maternity mortality, Simone got up vocally and stood by her. I would be curious, like, since you're so mad at Jackie, Simone, you still standing by that, or was you just doing it because you needed? And I think that's part of the problem. When Jackie was under fire, Simone stood by her. Right or wrong, she stood by her friend. My best friend of 30 years. We've been friends. She's known me longer. At this point, Jackie been friends with both of y'all for a very long time, and requiring somebody to choose you over another person is so juvenile. It's the same thing Leticia Scott is over there doing. She was mad at Quad for no reason. I don't understand that insecurity. And now she's like her husband, her children. I feel like, that may be part of the problem. Other things that Simone is going through. And Heavenly did bring that up over on Carlos' channel, that whatever Simone is going through is not, is not about her. It doesn't feel like it, but she does. Like, she hates that lady. It goes deep, and it feels like it's been there for a very long time. This ain't no new pain or new energy. And when you require someone to choose, you're gonna lose, because Jackie's not gonna. Why would I not be friends with Heavenly? At this point, it's less work. I got to be over here holding your hand and wiping your tears and, for shit that didn't have nothing to do with me. Y'all get into a fight and you don't want to be friends with me anymore. That's crazy talk. Simone said they're never, ever, ever getting back together. So next week the men come out, and we're gonna hash out this thing between Eugenia and Steve. Steve said he insecure because Toya was over there looking at him with his shirt off. And that's just another example. She did it to King. She did it about Steve. That's another example of Toya saying things and that come back to bite Eugenia in the ass. You think Heavenly didn't want to go on the trip, so she told producers that to get out of it? Maybe. Maybe, and it's maybe because she didn't want to talk about, that the whole thing with, with her son. Like, we don't know what her reason was for not wanting to go on the trip. I don't think it was because of Simone, though. But, just Simone definitely can't stand Heavenly. That's for darn sure. And, over there on Carlos' channel, Heavenly is like, I don't even know. Like, I just seen her. Like, apparently Simone is acting different behind the scenes. So Heavenly is over there acting confused, but you can't trust what Heavenly be saying either. I will say this. I walked away from this interview not feeling the same way I did when Toya took herself over there with Eugene. It was just really weird watching Toya pretend to be the first lady of Married to Medicine, and Carlos gassing her up because they both from Detroit. So that's all I got for this week. I'll be back next week on the second part of the reunion. Thank goodness they're only giving us two parts. We're gonna be dragging this thing out forever and ever. So yeah, y'all like the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll be back in the morning for some coffee talk. So have you ever haven't popped in for the morning conversation? Go ahead and pop in. Oh, what did you say? Let me hit this one right quick before I leave. For Heavenly to be part time, she was the whole season. Andy, cut Heavenly her check. She did more work than required of her. All right. Bye, y'all.